Hi friends, it's Heather here. So, is RV living right for you? This is the question we are going to tackle today. And it's a huge question to ask yourself if you are considering any type of tiny living. This is kind of the in style, fashionable thing to do, and so many people are curious about it and whether or not it's something that they could actually pull off. And I'm sure that many of you watching have been doing the RV lifestyle or the tiny living lifestyle, and you've enjoyed it and you've been doing it for a long time and it's going really, really well for you. But for me, all I can do is speak from my own experience. And I would say that in order to find out if RV living is something that you could do and that you could do long term, you should ask yourself, what is your purpose for tiny living? I find that there is a much higher chance of longevity if you have a reason behind why you are doing it. For example, there's a lot of different reasons. And one may be that you want to save money. And so you would like to do this because you want to actually pay off a stick home and get rid of that mortgage. Or maybe you have other debt that you want to pay off. You have credit card debt or you have college debt. Um, Maybe you are interested in doing this lifestyle because you really just want to take on the challenge and just try to simplify your life. And those are all really, really great reasons. But I would definitely have a purpose. Maybe your purpose for RV living is that you want to travel the country and you want to have a closer family time. All of those are really, really good reasons. But you have to ask yourself, is this going to keep me long term in an RV? And if I could give another piece of advice, it would be that for your first year, that if you are moving out of a home, I would put everything in storage. I think sometimes we get so adventurous that we just move out of our house, we sell absolutely everything, and then we are committed to this RV. And that's great. But if I'm really honest with you, several of my friends have done this. We lived in Florida, so it's a very popular thing to do there. And most people, by 18 months to 2 years, they're kind of getting the fever to move back into what we call a stick home, a proper home. And so I would just be careful not to throw everything out so quickly, just in case you find out that maybe it's not for you. The other thing to keep in mind with RVs is that they are recreational vehicles. They're not created to be lived in full-time, long-term, especially if you have children. So just the quality of things are different. Your cabinets aren't going to be like your cabinets in your normal home. Especially if you have kids, it's not uncommon that, a knob's going to fall off here and there. There's a lot more maintenance that goes into it. RVs, because they are vehicles, they work similar to automobiles, that they lose value. We're not always, but typically a home increases in value. So those are just all questions that you want to ask yourself. Also, when you live in an RV full time, it takes a lot of wear and tear, and you definitely have to have a budget in there just to do simple repairs. So, just keep all of that stuff in mind when you're thinking about doing this. And continue to send me your questions. I'm actually in the process of putting a list together. And so I would love to do an RV Q&A time and just to specifically answer your questions and get, really detailed and just tell you about our journey. I really, really enjoyed it and I loved it, and I'm so glad that we did it. And it was a fun adventure for us. But I will say that by the time we moved out with 18 months, because there were 6 of us crammed in one, we were ready to have space again. But for us, we had a specific purpose. And our purpose was to get our family to South Africa. So we were trying to live as simply as possible, and we had a goal in mind, and this helped us achieve our goal. And unbeknownst to us, it actually helped us get ready for our goal in a lot of ways. For example, just that life here is a bit more simple in general, and we are in a huge water crisis right now. And when you live in an RV, your water can be quite limited. So all of those things were just great prep, I guess, to bring us here. The other thing, too, just to keep in mind real quick, is just where you live. For us, we lived in Florida, so we could do it year-round, and we didn't have to put a lot of miles on it and things like that. If you're from up north in the U.S., obviously you're going to have to travel around in the wintertime. So just keep in mind, because those are just all costs. I would just really ask yourself, what is our purpose? What is our long-term goal? Why are we doing this? And then be sure to write it down. And then on days when you do get cabin fever and you're just kind of going crazy living in the RV, then you can go back to that list and be reminded as to why it is that you're doing it. It's a fun adventure. It's a great challenge. It's a lot of fun. And if you are considering it, I would completely go for it. But also just be realistic in your goals and maybe take things just one step at a time. In case for some reason it doesn't work for you, you have something else to fall back on. So type your questions in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get back with you with some answers with those. And thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you have a great week. And just remember that a life with no muck is your best life. All right, friends, we'll see you next week. Bye.